I want to share something what I saw recently, right? There's this post. It was low hanging fruit. And the post was about a woman who was showing a picture of a family in the 50s or 60s, might have been in the 40s, I don't know. And she was saying that imagine them telling us this is oppressive, right? Convincing us that this was oppressive. I'm going to have it posted here. So here's my takeaway with that. Now, initially, I would have liked this stuff. Let's just say 5 or 6 years ago, I would have liked this post. I would have been fully supporting it. Yeah, what's wrong? You know, it was those white feminists that brainwashed black women into believing that the black man was the problem, right? And that's not the case. That's not the case. I genuinely believe that creators like this know better, but continue to push this along because it appears that genuinely she's trying to say the black nuclear family structure is our community's best foot forward. And when we as a community embrace things like feminism, we are effectively breaking that nuclear family up. I used to think like this, same stuff. I know all of the talking points because I used to think like this. Recently, I've embraced feminism. Now, do I embrace feminism to the point of misandry? Absolutely not. But I do embrace feminism. Now, let me give you a breakdown why I feel like memes like this and stuff like that, yes, it gets attention. It gets the feminists to say, here, you're a pick me, you're a pick me. And oftentimes people hear the word pick me and they think, okay, they just tune out because they say, pick me, you're a pick me. Let me explain why that photo is oppressive or why that photo is the key word of this conversation is autonomy. Now, in that particular video that I screenshotted, she was talking about we gave up security and foundation and structure to end up having to pay strangers to watch our kids. We gave up foundation and structure to not really be wives to our husbands and all of this stuff, right? But here's the key to what I'm saying, okay? You have a man in that family dynamic who is the head of the household, right? And in this typical scenario, he's the head of the household. He goes to work, he provides for the family, he makes sure the bills are paid. The wife in this scenario stays home, washes the clothes, cooks the food, prepares the lunches for everybody from the husband to the kids, makes sure the kids get to and from school safely. She's accepting the traditional American patriarchal structure. But sometimes when you say patriarchal, immediately people tune out. This is just traditional American traditions. That's another way of saying it, right? So I'll be careful. I won't say patriarchy too much because people start feeling like that's a trigger word. The husband has autonomy. In other words, the husband is not in the same situation as the wife. The wife is expected to do all of these things: cook, clean, be loyal, motherhood in the bedroom, satisfy this gentleman, right? And with that structure comes a form of bondage because the wife doesn't have autonomy. She cannot do what the husband can do, in effect. So, in other words, like, let's just say the husband has a work trip. He lives in Los Angeles. He flies to New York. He goes on a work trip. The mother is expected to kind of take over everything, kind of do everything, take on this load and everything. The husband, he can go out with his friends. He can drink, have drinks. He can socialize. He can do whatever he wants to do on this work trip. And the wife is expected to kind of just be at home, be meek, be humble. But with this structure comes control, because the husband knows if the woman wants to do the same thing, like go out, do something, he feels like he is losing control of his woman. She's not knowing her place. And the very fact that the woman has a place and she has to stay within that place is not really structure. It's bondage. Because if you watch the movie Fences, Denzel Washington, the role that he played, Viola Davis, that by all means did not really have autonomy, right? The husband, he can go, he can mess around, have a child out of wedlock, and it's not frowned upon. The woman is expected to kind of say, hey, men are be men. This type of things happen. Don't ruin your marriage over something silly like this. But if the roles were reversed and the woman had the child out of wedlock, or there was a woman who broke up a household where the man was married and she broke up that marriage, it's frowned upon. Everything, the focus, the main point of the ire or the hatred is towards a woman. It's a total double standard, because the husband in this fictional scenario kind of gets a pass, and the woman in that scenario doesn't. She gets frowned upon. Now we're going towards the Ronald Reagan welfare queen stereotypes. So that very structure that you're praising it's not really structure. It's a form of bondage, because the woman has no autonomy. If she seeks to go towards a career, or she needs to, whatever it is, something that a man would be able to do in this dynamic, the man would feel that the woman is not falling within that structure, or if any of his needs are not met. Let's just say a woman is tired, or she's fatigued from taking kids, from doctor visits, or taking them from here to there and doing all of these things with the kids, extracurricular activities like soccer, ballet, whatever your kids are into, basketball, baseball. And she's tired. She's not in the mood. She's been working all day, and the husband wants his needs met, and she doesn't fulfill those needs. Then the man says, hey, my needs aren't being met. I can go out. I can go cheat. I can do whatever it is that I want to do. But if it was on the other foot, the woman says, hey, I'm tired, or she wants it and the man doesn't, whatever, fulfill her needs, she's expected to stay in that relationship despite her needs not being met. It's just not equal footing. The woman is made to be submissive or pet-like, and there's no equality in this type of dynamic. And these type of posts, I'm pretty sure they come off like they mean well, but in the grand scheme of things, it just makes the fracture that much deeper, because the women who are educated about feminism, when they bring up the fact that this was oppressive, this was a lack of autonomy, then they're often met, well, the black woman sold us out. The black woman failed us. We're going right back to this Ronald Reagan welfare queen type of thing where the black woman was blamed for the destruction of the family. It was welfare that made, not the systematic issues, not incarceration or the CIA coming into our neighborhoods, planning narcotics to fund a war. No, not that. It was the woman who stayed, raised her kids to the best of her abilities, right? It was her fault. So this is what's wrong with our community. This is just one example. But it's okay to embrace feminism without hating black men. It's okay to embrace feminism and understand that there are different things that mainly, I'm gonna have to use this word, mainly patriarchal standards that we believe. We may look at other groups of people and we may want to emulate those groups because that's what we see as normal, or this is what we see as desirable. But we're just perpetuating, right, these patriarchal standards without fully understanding the dynamics of everything, how it affects us. And I think this is what's hurting the black community. So feel what I'm saying? Hit that like button, subscribe, and tell me what you think, man. And I'm out. Peace. It's your boy Brian, Descended Thoughts.